Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, June the 23rd, 2023. Friday, June the 23rd. Today's episode was so. It's all right. We had Nikki is really letting Victoria have it. She says, I saw Nick tearing out of here. I know what that was about. She goes, you did it anyway, didn't you? What are you talking about? I told you to let him decide, and you didn't. It's best for the company. I know what's best. And see, here's the thing. Nikki needed to take a firmer hand with her daughter and say, you know what, let me tell you something, baby girl. I'm co-CEO with you, right? I am your mother and I am Nick's mother. If anyone knows what's best for Nick, Victoria, is me. It is not you. I am his mother. See, that's what she needed to do. And saying, this is not what's best for him. And we're going to take this to your father. That's what Nikki should have said. But Victor walks in and says, what's going on in here? Nikki shuts the door and she tells him. And he goes, why would you do that, Victoria? Because it's best for Nick. See, they let her get away with too much. And Nikki says, now I reminded her of the Ashlyn Locke situation. We tried to get her to take some time off after, and she insisted she needed work, but yet she won't give Nicholas the same opportunity. And Victor says, you're making a mistake. I am, this Victoria, like a tantrum. I am tired of people second guessing my decisions around here. I have done well by this company, and if you don't like my decisions, then remove me. And she walks out, and Victor leans back because he's sitting in the CEO chair, right? He leans back, and he looks at Nikki, and Nikki is pissed, and he says, because Nikki said, I have a feeling this has something to do with Nate Hastings. And Victor looks at her. You're in a personal relationship with him. Is that what's going on? And that's when she blew up and walked out, right? This has nothing to do with Nate. So when she walked out, Nikki shuts the door, looks at Victor, and he goes, we struck a nerve, didn't we? And Nikki looks at him. Mm-hmm. See, now we got both Nikki and Victor looking at Nate. The same one Nick's been warning them all about, but they're all now, those two are looking at Nate. So Victoria, meanwhile, while all this is happening, Tucker's at the bar. It's so funny. Nate walks by and he goes, Dr. Hastings. Oh, but I guess what is it, Mr. Hastings now? How's corporate life? Oh, it's going very well, thank you. And Nate goes and sits down. Well, Nick comes barreling in. And Tucker was like, he had already put his money down, told the bartender, thank you. You can close my, here's the money. He was leaving. He saw Nick go barreling by. He goes, oh, wait. He tells the bartender, no, bring me he orders his drink. He goes, sits back down. He goes, because this is about to get good. Tucker, I love him. They truly are. A few months ago, somebody in Comment Corner says they're underutilizing the true talents of Trevor St. John. They really are. He needs to have more of a leading man role. in The Young and the Restless because he is worth it. An actor of his caliber is worth it. And right now, this is so secondary for him. To me, he's even starting to look bored playing Tucker, right? So he sits down, and Tucker did everything but get some popcorn, right? He's looking at their mouths, trying to make sure he don't miss nothing because they're not talking low. So he's hearing everything, but he's like, I want to see facial expressions. So Nick is telling him, you didn't waste any time. He goes, Nick, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, I knew you were after my position. Again, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, and Nick is sitting down. See, you're a liar. And I know what you're all about. You're also behind this, Victoria wanting me to take a leave of absence. Oh, is that what Victoria decided? And Nick is like, don't try to play like you didn't know, Nate. You knew. And you plan on taking full advantage of it. And so Nate says, look, Nick, Victoria does not have me in her decision-making process for Newman Enterprises. This is the first I'm hearing of it. And Nick is just looking at it. He goes, oh, okay, so since this is, and Nate was saying, Nick, we used to be friends years ago. What happened? He goes, well, what happened was years ago when you looked me, when I asked you, was there something going on between you and Elena when she was with Devon? You looked me straight in my face and lied and said no, straight in my face. He goes, so then I knew, okay. He goes, now I'm not judging you for that because everybody knows. I mean, I've had my share of relationships and even inappropriate ones. But we were supposed to be friends. And you looked me in my face and you lied to me. He goes, and then just watching you, Nate, what you've done thereafter, even what you tried to do to your own family at Chancellor Winters, you and my sister. He goes, and Nate goes, you still trying to throw that up in my face? I was underappreciated. I was berated there, which is a lie. He wasn't berated. Him and Devon clashed, and rightfully so. But anyway, and Nick says, no, but that just shows what a traitor you are. He goes, tell me, Nate, if you had succeeded, you and my sister would be running your family's company, or no, Devon and Lily's family company right now, wouldn't you? That's what you wanted. He goes, but I did not go through it. And Nate said, and through with it. He says, Nick goes, because Elena talked you out of it. That's the only reason, Nate. And now look at you. Now look at you. So tell me this, Nate, then, since this is the first you hearing of it, Victoria don't run things by you. If she offers you my position, you gonna turn it down? And Nate looks at Nick. I am going to assist Victoria in any capacity that she needs me in. And Nick goes, yeah, I thought so. I thought that's exactly what you'd say. And so Nate looks at him. See, now Nate brings out his true colors. He looks across at Nick and he says, look, Nick, don't be mad at me because you couldn't prevent Cameron Kirsten from kidnapping your daughter, Faye. And Nick looks at him like, wait, what did you say? And then he goes, and then don't be mad at me, or don't take it out on me that you couldn't be there for Sally when she lost her baby. And at that point in time, Victoria is walking in and Nick is getting ready to stand up. Because when Nick wanted to lead with his fist, he's all that in a bag of chips, right? Nick is getting ready to stand up, and Victoria walks by Tucker, and Tucker says, you better get over there, because it's going down, right? And she just looks at Tucker, and she immediately comes over. You couldn't wait, could you, Nick? You couldn't wait to come straight to Nate for my decision. And so Nate stands up. Victoria, everything's fine. I can handle Nick. And Nick is just looking at the two of them, right? And he goes, your brother has had it in his mind for some reason that I'm after his job. And so Victoria says something snide, right? And Nick is just looking at both of them, smirking. And he gets a text from Sally saying she's being released. So he looks at his text, he puts it back in the pocket, his phone back in his pocket, and he stands up and he goes, look at you two. And he smiles. He goes, I forget the exact statement he said, but it was of the essence. He goes, ooh, this kind of alliance is doomed for failure. And he just kind of smirks like, you two are going to deserve all of this. And he walks away. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to. Nate, Victoria's running the shots, but she thinks Nate is loyal to her. She thinks that. Nate's not loyal to anyone but Nate. He loved Lily and was not loyal to Lily, right? Him and Devon had their issues since Elena, but he loved Lily, allegedly. Look what he do to her. Okay. Then he loved Elena. Look at what he did to her. He doesn't love Victoria. So you know what he's going to do to her. All for his own ambitions. And it's going to be so good to watch. And it's going to be short-lived, his reign, if that's what you want to call it, because now that Victor is on to him. Victor ain't liking what he's seeing. It's about to go down. And Nikki can be cold as ice, right? It's about to go down. Because honestly, as co-CEO, Nate works for Nikki as well. Nikki just isn't flexing her co-CEO muscles enough, and she needs to, right? So Tucker gets up and he walks away. Once Nick left, Tucker's like, ooh, this is gonna be good, right? To watch the company implode or the chaos happen. So Tucker leaves, but he goes into the lounge. Now, in the lounge, Adam is there, the jazz lounge. Adam is in there drinking, feeling sorry for himself. And guess who walks in? Audra. Adam Newman. And he looks at her. She goes, Audra Childs. And she goes to put her hand out, and Adam's looking like, do I know you? So she puts her hand on her, other arm to cover for that. And she goes, not yet, but you do now. I'm soon to be the CEO of Newman Media. Audra's already telling people that, right? What if Nick would have been going in there and heard that? Because remember, Nate says, no, Victoria has not said anything to me about taking your place. But yet Audra already knows she's taking yours because you're taking Nick's. Come on now. And Adam looks at her and turns his head. And she says, sorry for your loss, right? About the baby or whatever, with what you've been going through, or whatever Audra says to him. And Adam really isn't having it. He's not impressed by her, nor does he want to talk to her. But the funny thing is, everybody, looking at the two of them sitting together, they're the next couple. See, they may throw Kyle into the mix for Audra right now as something to play with. That's all Kyle is. Audra, even though she's older than Kyle, because Noah is way older than Faith and Kyle, even though they try to put them closer together, right? But they're not. They're nowhere near. Nowhere near. I mean, not Faith and Kyle, Summer and Kyle. Noah is Faith's, Summer's older brother, right? Cassie was older than Noah, and he was way younger than her. And then Cassie was a teenager when she died. Noah was had been there for years. Summer didn't come along. Summer wasn't conceived until way later, when Phyllis and Nick got together, when Nick was grieving Cassie's death. So Summer and Kyle are definitely of a younger generation. Audra is Noah's age. Audra is closer to Adam, because Audra's probably Sally's age. Okay, so she's gonna spit Kyle out while Kyle is busy being mad, right? Chew him up, sex him up, and spit him out, right? Adam, on the other hand, she's gonna look as a challenge. And she says, you know what? I'm a good listener. And Adam looked at her and he said, why would I say anything to what hopes to be my competition? And she looks like, oh, okay. So Tucker walks up. Well, what do we hear? And Adam says, are you here to cause some kind of trouble, Tucker? Right? And Tucker's like, no, I'm just saying, you know. And Adam goes, and Tucker says, I was going to say sorry for the loss of your baby, you and Sally's baby. And Adam says, how did you hear about that? And Tucker said, there are no secrets in this town. And he looked at Audra and he made some kind of reference to, you know something about that, don't you, Audra? Or something he said. And Audra turned and looked at Tucker like, go away. What are you doing, right? And so Adam says, look, I don't have time for this. And I'm out of here. And he leaves. And Audra's like, what were you doing? So they go sit down, you know, where the comfier chairs are away from the bar. And Tucker tells her, out loud, he says, Audra, I'm going to tell you this. Adam Newman is nothing to play with. Nothing. You thought I was dangerous, Audra. Adam is more dangerous than I am. And Audra looked at him, and Audra looked at Tucker, and she says, Adam Newman doesn't scare me. I can handle Adam Newman. And Tucker looked at her and says, you would think that. He said, but don't say I didn't warn you. Stay away from him. And not stay away from him as far, well, he meant, because Audra likes to chance meet you and needle you. That's Audra. Get under you, needle you. He's like, stay away from him, Audra. And I'm thinking, good. Telling her to stay away from Adam, it's like saying that's the one you need to go after, is Adam, right? Because she's going to get it in her mind. No, I'm gonna find out the competition. Because see, Audra does know McCall, right? And so she's gonna try to cozy up to him to see what he's doing to find out what he wants to sell, how he's gonna be vulnerable. And Adam is gonna use her to fit right into his plan. And I can't wait. Hopefully they write that right. Because that could be juicy. That could be juicy. Ultimately, I could see Audra working with Adam at McCall. Those two vipers together, wow. We got the king cobra, Adam, and a rattler, right? Audra, oh my goodness. Those two would do some damage together. They're the pair. And watch, as they become the pair, Sally is going to tire of Nick and start to look at Adam. Right? Because see, now she's going to want Adam back. I give it 6 months and Sally's going to want to be with Adam. And it's going to be too late. It'll be Adam and Audra within 6 months. And that's going to be good. That's going to be really good. So anyway, that's it. That is it for today's episode of The Young and the Restless. Nothing else really happened. I mean, Nikki and Victor were eating at Society, and Victor said the family is so splintered. And Nikki says, I know, we've got Noah gone. We've got Faith. She just left. And Victor said, and Adam is clearly spiraling down a dark path, clearly. And Nikki's just like shaking her head. And so she goes, we have Johnny and Katie are going to boarding school in the fall. She forgot to say, and already gone to summer camp, but summer camp is local, right? Johnny and Katie will be gone. And so Victor says, and I tried so hard to instill in him that family should stick together, in them, that family should stick together. And she goes, you've done an excellent job of that, honey. And I think that's a doggone lie. Nikki, you're lying. They are the way they are because of Victor. Victor pits them all against each other. The only one he didn't pit against them, but then, yeah, he did kind of, is Adam. When he and Adam started Newman Media, it was to kind of rival, to take a little dig at Newman itself. But they also took it from Chancellor. They took Chancellor Communications, right? So anyway, Victor's always made it a competition between his kids. Even when he would make Adam CEO. He would do that to either put a spark in Nick or kick Victoria in her behind when he's mad at her. He would make Adam CEO. There was always a competition. As a matter of fact, when Victoria said, why would I buy McCall Unlimited to let you give it to Adam? And Victor said, are you afraid of a little healthy competition? And she said, no, but I'm not giving Adam a company. Although she was given one. She was given a huge one, right? You wanted so bad, daddy, for him, you use your own money, which is what Victor did. See, like he said, you afraid of a little healthy competition? She's already told Victor she's going to crush McCall. And Adam's already told Victor he's coming after Newman. See, this is the path, the tracks that you led these two trains colliding on, Victor. So there we have it. There we have it. And I'm just happy. Adam is as strong a conductor as Victoria, if not stronger. See, Victoria on the train track headed towards Adam on the train track, and they're both going to play chicken. You want to know who'll stop the train first? Victoria. Victoria would stop her train first. Adam would get to a point, he says, well, you know what? I'm going to take out as many as I can now. That's Adam. That's Adam, right? That's not Victoria, but that's Adam Newman. So anyway, everybody, we'll see. This is gearing up. If written properly, gearing up to be something that's pretty good. So I'll be back next week for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.